Hey, beautiful Oho people, it's Mike from 1 Hour Out here. Thank you for joining us again on Outcast, the sometimes podcast, sometimes live stream for lovers of all things made with love in regional Victoria. I really hope things hang together today. The wind is crazy outside. I can hear chainsaws off in the depths of the Yarra Valley, or my neighbours, who knows. But firstly, I'd just like to thank everybody who watched last week for liking, commenting, subscribing, following Oho from last week's inaugural episode of Outcast. We had such a great response to our live stream, and some of you even bought short hive honey from the 1 Hour Out Markets page on our website during the show, so thank you so much for that. Well, my kids know when it's Dad's turn to cook because there's chili in the meal and there's hot sauces on the table. Actually, even when I don't cook, I'm there with the hot sauce. It's always on the table. We've never shied away from the Scoville scale in our house, and we just love a great hot sauce. By we, I mostly mean me. But everyone in the house is chili tolerant and they all put up with my love for chili. I just love the flavour that a great hot sauce brings to a meal, and that sauce has to be flavourful because there's no point in it being super hot if it doesn't really pack a flavour that carries right through. This brings me really neatly onto today's guest on Outcast, Ronaldo Muller from Freight Train Chillies. Ronaldo, welcome to Outcast.
Thank you very much, Mike.
Hey, where are you and what's it like there? How's things in your part of Victoria?
Well, I'm based in Bairnsdale, so East Gippsland. Things are okay here. It's actually a nice day today. Got into the mid-20s. Doesn't look like there's too much wind outside, so beautiful day for it.
And I guess in your part of the world, you're in regional Victoria. You've got stage 3 restrictions on you at the moment. How's living with that?
Interesting, especially with a 4-year-old or 5-year-old in the house. It makes
Right.
it tremendous amounts of fun. I take my hat off to my wife being very creative with the kids, keeping them entertained.
And
And
so your business, Wild Freight Train Chillies, it's not the only thing you do, is it? You have other work.
100% correct. Yeah.
And
So I work as well, so that keeps me busy. Any free time I have is spent with the business or the kids.
Okay. We love the way passionate producers get started. Most of them have other careers, and they find this thing that they really love, and they just devote themselves to it. And one of the questions I had after last week's show from a viewer was about small businesses and small passionate people doing it part-time outside the metro ring. You know, are things okay? Are people doing all right out there?
It's okay. It's not bad. We can't complain. Luckily, we don't have the strict restrictions that they have in the metro ring, so it gives us a little bit more freedom. Still go to work, still do a little bit of shopping, a little bit of outside time within reason. But business-wise, it's slowed down a fair bit, but we're doing the best we can and trying to make the best out of the situation we have.
So don't forget, folks, this is a live thing. Feel free to jump in and ask your questions about chilies, hot sauces, anything about being a passionate producer in regional Victoria. Just jump in anytime and ask your questions. So if there's one thing we've noticed here at Oho Markets, it's that Victorian producers love a good business name. Where did you get Freight Train Chillies from?
So Wild Freight Train Chillies is a little bit of a culmination of a couple of things. So the freight train part comes from I used to work on the railways out of high school. I got my Cert 3 in Transport Logistics and Rail Operations. So I was a shunter on the railways, and I did freight trains mainly at the start. So I was stationed out in Kalgoorlie in Western Australia. We did the freight train from Perth to Kalgoorlie. So that's where the freight train part comes around. The wild bit comes from my sense of adventure and wanting to do things a little bit differently. So I have a very close friend, and we're everything about outdoors and good food, good people, good times. So we have some wild stories about beach fishing trips and hunting trips and things like that. So the two came together to give me a really great name for a really awesome product that I love 100% and I'm 100% behind passionately.
So I had this mental picture of you sitting in a train on your breaks, eating sandwiches that are drenched in hot sauce that are the envy of your workmates. Is that pretty much how it went down?
A little bit, yes and no. I grew up in a house where my mum always made chili, very much vinegar-based chilies on the hotter end. So that's kind of what I grew up with. And as I grew to love food more and more, I got a little bit fed up with having things that were just hot and didn't have that much flavor to them. So I really wanted to make something that could punch that flavor. So that started with me growing the 10 hottest chilies in the world when I was living in Western Australia. So
Yeah,
I
right.
had everything through from those chilies through to the Carolina Reaper growing in my backyard. And it was just purely from there, just experimenting with hotter chilies and different flavors and interesting combinations that got me to where I am. But yeah, chili's been a massive part of my life, and it's something that I do enjoy immensely.
Well, let's get into it, Ronaldo. You've 5 sauces here. I've got that. I haven't even taken the wax caps off because I want to talk to you about that, about how we even, what's your technique for getting these off. But I noticed they're all different colours. What's that about?
Yeah. So, well, we go on a very simple traffic light system. I try to keep it as simple as possible. So the green bottles with the green wax, they are mild bottles. So we dip them in a green wax just so that they're easy to see. If you've got more than one of them at home, people don't accidentally grab the hot one if they're not into the really, really hot stuff. And then yellows are milds. So, and then the reds are hot. So sticking to the railway theme, the greens are actually our steamers. So it's a little bit like a steam train. It's a nice, pleasure little thing. Gets you there slowly, so you enjoy the ride. The yellows are mediums, are our freighters, so they're a bit more of a workhorse. They'll get the job done a little bit quicker. The red bottles are express. So the express one's the quickest one. Will get you there faster with the heat level, but still
that's
make
your punch.
good. Yeah.
So dare I ask what the black is?
So the black is our conductor. So pretty much the bullet, which is the Maroni color wax, came from copious markets in Melbourne where people just kept asking, what's the hottest you make? What's the hottest you make? So I made the bullet a little bit hotter than what our hot was, because for a lot of people it wasn't enough punch in there. And then the conductor came after that. I wanted to see how far I could push it before I lose any flavor in the sauce. So the conductor is the hottest I make. Just sticking to what I love about having something that's got really good heat. So it's up at the upper end of my personal preference and tolerance for chili, but still amazing flavor up to the point where the chili hits you.
So let's get started. I've made a couple of food pairings here. We had a little bit of a text chat during the week about what I might put up, and to be honest, they're the kinds of things that I love to smother in hot sauce anyway. Plus one of my go-tos. But let's get started. How do I get this wax off for starters?
So very, very simple. Don't even need anything to open it. Just hold the base of the bottle and twist the lid, and the wax should just pop off.
Okay. Well, which one do you reckon I should start with? Do I start green and move upwards?
Yeah, I reckon start with the milds and go from there.
So you reckon just grab the base and there it goes?
Just grab and it should just pop off. So it's a beautiful food grade wax. So if it does get in anywhere or does get mixed in with something, no stress, no worries. It's completely safe for consumption as well. Not that I recommend eating wax, but accidents happen.
I was talking to someone earlier today who said they'd tried to scrape the wax off before they opened it, and I thought, I'm going to talk to Ronaldo about that, and there it goes, bang, straight off. Thank you for that. So, cocoa and zucchini, what do you reckon I start with my food pairings here?
Cocoa zucchini, my favourite go-to early mornings. Fried egg would be my recommendation. That guy.
Well, let's go the fried egg. I'll just chuck a bit on my fried. Well, that was a little hefty.
That's right. So the cocoa zucchini came from a little bit of a Mexican influence with the moles that they have over there. So it's got quality cocoa powder in there, and then obviously, as the name says, we try to keep it simple, cocoa and zucchini. So nice round mouth flavor, and then right at the end you'll get the heat come through. And with the mild, it'll be very, very mild. That's something that my kids.
That's right at the end, isn't it? It's all ketchup, and you get that cocoa, that like in that classic Mexican vibe, you get the cacao or the chocolate in a really good mole, and that's all it does is just add that little touch of complexity and bitterness, and it's right there. Doesn't taste like
But
chocolate.
that's it. So what I try to do is make sure that you taste your food first. Our sauce will then be second, and the chili will always be at the finish.
Yeah, right.
So you can enjoy it every time.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll move on then. Where do you reckon I go next?
So what have we got in the medium?
So
The freight.
I've got a smoked barbecue sauce there.
Beautiful. So the smoked barbecue, like any barbecue sauce, goes great on a sausage. If you have some sausages there,
I do, yeah. I've got a pork and a lamb. Sorry, a chicken and a lamb.
I'd say go with the chicken.
Right.
But we'll save the lamb one for the cherry.
Okay.
So with those ones, it's a little bit of a thicker sauce, a little bit of texture to it. So how we get the smoked things, I don't like adding any artificial flavorings or colorings. The onions in the barbecue sauce get hickory smoked for 8 hours in the smoker that I have to give you that real smoky punch at the end. Yeah,
that's a beautiful sauce. The hickory's got a really unique smoky flavour. Like, you can really taste when something's been just smoked in like generic sort of hardwood. It's quite different to hickory. It's got there's a bit more of a sweetness about the smoky flavour in hickory.
Yep.
And I really like that.
And I'm South African by origin, so I have no traditional loyalty to barbecue sauce in any way, shape, or form. That's just how I feel I like my barbecue sauce. Not overly sweet, but still with a smoky finish. Yeah. Well, so anything with like a little steak goes good as well.
Well, let's up the heat a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Where do I go from here? You'll notice. So on the next one, we'll go the cherry balsamic. I think is the one you have there. That's in the red lid.
Yeah.
Yep. But that one there with the lamb sausage will be absolutely beautiful.
This one's a little stiff in the. I think because I've got sauce in my hand from before.
So that one they won us silver at the Australian Food Awards in 2018, which was my first set of awards that I won with any sauce, which I was very, very happy with. So for me, this is a great balance between sweetness and then obviously the tartness of the balsamic.
So I can just smell the balsamic as it comes out of the bottle.
It's got a really nice fruity start. We can get the cherries, you get the body from the balsamic in the middle, and then you get a bit more of a chili pickup at the end.
That's so good with a really good quality butcher's sausage. We're blessed with really good butchers here in Healesville. We ducked down before and grabbed some freshly made sausages from this morning, and that with that lamb sausage is just fantastic. Yep. Nothing beats a little bit of sort of sweet acidity that you get in a balsamic. And then, and again, it's flavour first, isn't it?
Yes, always. So you'll notice, even though you've had a little bit more chili now, that you'll still be tasting the sausage first. You'll be getting the texture of the sausage as well as the flavour of the. Then you'll get the chili that'll come right at the end.
I'm going back to that one because that's really good.
Yeah, that's great. That's my aim, is to always make sure that regardless whether it's your first bite of the sauce or the 100th bite of the sauce, you still taste your food first.
Yeah.
Don't want to take away, because I've had many a sauce which the first 5 bites are great, and then after that it kind of overwhelms the palate a little bit much, and then you just taste the burn. There's no real flavour left after that.
Speaking of flavours, we've had a question come in. A few people have said that sounds delicious, and they're not wrong. They are delicious. But the most popular flavour, Ronaldo, what's your biggest seller?
The biggest seller is actually at the moment has been the conductor and the barbecue. So the barbecue will always be a great seller, but the conductor's really picked up since lockdown started. People have been reaching for the hotter sauce.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. People are just trying to test their Scoville scale tolerance, I suppose.
Building their resistance, being at home, eating good food the whole time.
Yeah.
Building the chili, which is always good to see.
So don't forget, folks, this is your chance to ask all your burning chili questions to our passionate producer. That was a fully intended pun. I apologise. But now is the time to ask questions if you've got anything. So I'm going to smear a bit of my favourite local sourdough with a bit of my morning butter, which is just avocado smashed up. What do you reckon?
Beautiful.
What do you reckon I chuck on this one, Ronaldo?
Go the bullet, so that'll up the heat a little bit more.
So this is the brown wax?
Yes, that's the one.
There's something about this. I usually do this with sriracha because I love that vinegary hotness that you get from a good sriracha sauce, and avocado just seems to sit with it. The Mexicans are onto something with that. I mean, sriracha's not Mexican, but you know,
Just
the avocado and lime, and you know, good squeeze of lime on it as well.
That's it. So the bullet was born as another application of the cocoa zucchini. So we've modified that a little bit, changed the recipe, and then upped the spice level just to get a nice heat with that round flavour, just to give people that bit more punch and try to make it a little bit more acidic than what the cocoa's a bit more of a mellow one.
Mm. Again, though, excuse me, flavour first.
Always flavour. We don't want to take away. We want to add.
I'm not saying it's not hot, people, but that it is definitely hot. But it's really enjoyable. It's the kind of heat that I love. It's not making me sweat before I've even tasted my food. So that's a good sauce for me. I've had a really good question here. Actually, a couple of people have made smashed avocado jokes and mortgages and that kind of thing. But somebody's asked if there's a wine that can handle being drunk with hot sauces. So if you're, or is it strictly a beer affair?
No, by all means. The great thing I love about our first major event we did was a wine festival, which we did amazingly well in, which I was surprised. Mainly because we try to keep our water content in the sauce lower. That's why you get the burn on the back of the tongue instead of the front. So it pairs really well. So if you're going the cherry balsamic, a nice red wine, as you would do normally, the main thing that why people don't seem to pair chili and wine comes down to the chemical compounds inside chili, which is the capsaicin. So capsaicin actually forces your taste receptors to stay open a little bit longer, so you're tasting more flavor. So that's why they say chili and wine don't mix, because usually when you have a full-bodied red, the capsaicin will force the receptors to stay open, and that tannin will get in a little bit, and people will get that over dryness or over bitterness that brings out the other side of wines, which they kind of miss when they don't have that full effect.
So something crisper and leaner.
Yes. Lighter. The nice fruity New Zealand white's always great with them. So things that have got really nice like passion fruit, stone fruit accents, the citrusiness of them as well, nice and light, work great with those.
Some of those kind of experimental steely Chardonnays that they make in the Yarra Valley that are don't see much oak, if anything at all, that are all about that steely fruit. That would, and acid. Yeah. I always find acid really hits chili really well.
Right.
So someone's actually asked what the Scoville level is. I guess that relates to the chilies that you're using.
So all of my chilies, I use Carolina Reaper as my base chili. As for Scoville testing, I'm in the process of getting them tested to get a more accurate read of the Scoville units on it. But obviously being a very, very small producer, those tests do cost a fair bit of money to send off to a lab to get them analysed and tests and get through and all those fun things. So as soon as I know, they'll be going on the labels and they'll be plastered everywhere. But we try to make sure that every bite stays consistent with our heat level. But I haven't got an exact Scoville unit rating for them, unfortunately.
So I've had a really great question here, clearly from either an educated foodie or a chef. They've asked what you think future trends might be in chili sauces, what flavour combinations and pairings we might start to see in people's homes and in restaurants when we can get back to them.
The great thing about food is it's always evolving, it's always changing. So I have a lot of kickback from people, especially when they see the label cocoa zucchini. Most people go, that's just something that would never in a million years be something they put together. My most interesting pairing I've done with the sauces, I've made a sour cherry cheesecake and used the cherry balsamic as a gelatin on top with the sweet cheesecake.
Wow.
So really the dessert side of it. So at the end of the day, the possibilities are endless with chili and where you can go with them, whether it be sweet or savoury.
And look, even in supermarket chocolate lines now, we're seeing chili and chocolate as something that you can just buy on any supermarket shelf. And the Mexicans really were onto something there with the ground cacao and the chili and the mole. It's quite a essential experience and something you don't forget the first time you've had it. So I've got one more sauce here. I've got the conductor.
You've got the conductor.
Yep.
Beautiful.
So
yeah.
I might just I'm going to go that straight on a spoon. I'm going to taste
Sure.
it straight up, no food.
Go for it. So with that one there, I would go sparingly on the spoon. It does wrap up a fair bit from what the bullet is. But yeah, this one won us the silver in the chili category in the Australian Food Awards 2019.
But again, it's flavour first, Ronaldo. That is gorgeous. Like you get the acidic vinegary-ness from the depth of your effort that's gone into making that sauce, and then the chili just
Punches
carries it.
through it.
Yeah, but it carries it, and it's what sort of sits there. So I've gone through 5 chili sauces here with you now. If I've gone a little bit too hard on my chilies, what's your recommendation? How do I get a little reprieve? Is water the best thing, or do I chuck something else at it?
Definitely stay away from water. The chemical capsaicin is actually water-based. It's an oil-based chemical. So as soon as you put water on it, it'll just stick harder to whatever that water molecules go over. So fatty things like milk, peanut butter, they really help to capture those oils and then carry them away from the taste receptors so they can actually reduce the burn.
I've also heard vodka. Yeah. But,
alcohol.
I've never ever got to the end of an experience where I thought, maybe I should...
There's a great episode done by Mythbusters where they tested the vodka and chili thing, and it wasn't the best. But I know a lot of guys that do chili eating competitions competitively, and they swear by like a teaspoon of sugar.
Yeah, really?
But just straight water. If it goes really, really hard and you really can't manage, and it's just gone too much, they say a teaspoon or a tablespoon of just straight sugar will help to take the burn away. It helps to pick up all those extra molecules sitting there.
So, have you got anything new on the go at the moment? Are you working on anything in development? Anything we can look forward to?
I'm in talks with the company to help me get some jerkies out. So expand the sauces into some jerkies, some great... Seeing as summer's around the corner and lockdown will hopefully be finished soon and we can all get back together to get something where we can share with friends a bit more in a social setting, not just sitting down at a table with a
fried
dinner.
Egg and a lonely bottle of sauce.
A nice snack we have.
Yeah.
So we've got a couple of in the pipeline. I've got about 6 or 7 other recipes for sauces already developed and done. So as soon as we can get everything back up and running and everyone can get out again together, there'll be a couple more coming out. So really, really looking forward to it. The next one will probably be the pomegranate and raspberry chili sauce that I have.
Wow.
That's one I've been sitting on for a couple of years now. It's about at the point where I can bottle it and get it out.
I just want to tell people the conductor is still doing its job on me at the moment. That chili and that flavour, honestly, it's just zinging back there. But not in the oh my god, my face has gone numb way. It reminds me of the flavour I've just had kind of way. I'm into that.
And that heat is there for about 5 minutes and then it'll dissipate away. So it'll stay at that level constantly. Even if you have some more now, it's not going to push it any higher than what it is. It'll just stay at... That's the great thing about it.
So I take it you're normally at farmers markets. If we were all able to sort of get around, you'd be out on the weekend selling these sauces at farmers markets. Where do you usually sell and what can you do at the moment?
So I'm online. So thanks to you guys for 1 hour out adding me to your amazing collection of creators and passionate producers. I'm able to sell through there. I've got my own online site as well, which I sell through. That's predominantly where I am. I have a couple of local businesses here in Bairnsdale which support me. So I've got a beautiful place called Earth and Soul Pizza down here, which use our sauces on their pizzas, as well as they stock some sauces. And I've got one of the local supermarkets, so Lukey's Fresh Fruit Markets, that produce beautiful small goods. They stock our sauces as well. And I've just added, hopefully more permanently, one of the guys up in Melbourne, out at Aussie Veterans Coffee Company. They've just ordered a bulk lot of sauces to do some ribs and some wings and things with as well. So word's getting out slowly, but also I'm doing the Good Food and Wine Show circuit a little bit more. So I will be swinging through Melbourne with those bigger events.
Well, when these things start up again, people, you've got to get out. And when you see the freight train logo, the Wild Freight Train logo on the front of the bottle, you've got to stop. I take it you would normally do tastings at a stall. Always. So take that up, people. You've got to get onto that. People are actually daring me to neck the bottle of Conductor, but you know what? That's going straight. I'll have more. Don't worry about that. But these sauces are something that you would savour, not that you slather.
And they're very multi-purpose ones as well. They work great as marinades or cooking sauces. So the cocoa zucchini, couple of tablespoons in with your mince when you're making tacos, adds a really nice base flavour to it with not necessarily jamming up heat as well. Salad dressings, cherry balsamic. The amount of times my wife's had me make cherry balsamic with a salad dressing, bit of white wine vinegar, mix with that some olive oil, a little bit of sugar to even it out, and straight onto a nice garden salad. So very, very easy to use in any setting you can think of.
Well, look, thanks so much for joining us on Outcast today, Ronaldo. It's been an absolute blast. One of my favourite topics next to wine and beer is hot sauce. So this was an absolute gift for me. Thanks to Jay for lining this up for me. This has been great. And of course, you can buy any of Ronaldo's sauces that we're currently stocking on the 1 Hour Out Markets website. Just go to onehour.out.com.au. You'll see the markets right there at the top. Click through. Ronaldo's sauces are there. You can buy them online or from Ronaldo's own website at wftc.com.au. Highly recommended from us at 1 Hour Out. And not just because we stock them. We only stock stuff that we love and it's delicious. So we're loving at the moment the Click for Vic campaign. So make sure you do your best to support regional producers like Ronaldo by hunting down some more of the stuff that passionate producers in country Victoria are making, and do your best to support in any way you can anybody who is passionately producing at the moment. So thanks, beautiful Oho people. I hope you've enjoyed another little insight into what's going on in regional Victoria outside the Metro Ring. Make sure you like this video and follow on our Instagram and Facebook pages for more updates from 1 Hour Out. And if there's someone that you think we should know about or feature on the show, drop us a line from the contact link in our bio or just leave a comment below. We'd love to hear from you. See you next time with another passionate producer on Outcast.